What up, what up, what up? Appreciate you tuning back in with me again. Thanks for rocking with me. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And get back with me. So, I got my earpiece in today because a couple people told me that my video was coming through a little low on my volume voice sound. So I'm going to see if I can rectify that situation now. Like I said, this is the beginning, so I'm out here with the basics. Eventually, I'm going to upgrade, better lighting, better camera, etc., so forth. So, this episode will be part 4 of the 5-part series on mental health. Tonight's conversation will be about mental health and homosexuality. Tune in, tell a friend, leave your comments. Like I said, this will be 4 of 5-part series. After I do part 5, I will move on to a new topic unless people are telling me they want to hear more around mental health and whatever else. So, appreciate you rocking with me. Let's get to it. What up, what up, what up? Here I am. It's your boy Faithfulin. Some know me as Sean. Some know me as Smooth. Whatever you know me by. Appreciate you rocking with me. If you're new to my channel, please like, subscribe. I'm seeing my views and I'm appreciating that, but those views ain't matching the likes, and the likes ain't matching my subscribe, and my subscribe ain't looking like I want it to look. So yeah, help me out. I'm on this journey. I'm gonna cover several contents. Tonight is part 4 of my 5-part series on mental health. Tonight is mental health and homosexuality. Again, before I get into that, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you want me to stick with mental health, if it's okay to move on to the next topic. Haven't exactly decided what that will be, but got great things coming. So, hopefully you guys can hear me better tonight. And let's go. Sensitive topic, so off the top I had to do my meditation, do my research, and try to do some justice. Like I said in other videos, I'm not coming from an expert stance. I'm coming from a person who's lived it, is living it, grasping some understanding of it, trying to survive the struggle, and hoping that by displaying my information on my channel, someone else will either learn, grow, accept, feel better, supported, not alone, and whatever magnificent outcomes we can create. So, to kind of give some history that I know, prior to 1973, homosexuality was defined as a mental health disorder. You were basically obsessed. Sometimes they used to think you were possessed. It's almost the same cruciality as left-handedness in that time and day, and some other things were. So, yeah, you were retarded. You had a mental illness. You weren't wrapped tight if you chose to have attractions to the same sex. I read an article that said in England, men used to get thrown in jail if they admitted to or were caught with an attraction to the same sex. And that was for the mostly underprivileged men there. They said the privileged men in England were able to go through what was called aversion therapy to avoid being jailed. And I look at that aversion therapy as a lot of hypnosis, and then what they used to do here back in the day in the U.S. with the shock therapy. uh, it's funny because I was so wrapped up in my panic and my anxiety. I think it was 2018. I was going to sign up for electro physio, whatever that big word is, and go through some sort of shock therapy because if I wasn't afraid of losing all the memories with my child, I've told many people I would have brain surgery and just wrap my brain, just wash it clean, just be fresh and just not have this battlefield of the mind because of the anxiety and the constant battle with negativity and those defeating thoughts that come to your mind. Too early in this to get emotional, so I'm going to go right on. Another thing I wanted to mention about in the past is even after 1973, it was still looked at as a mental illness. Even today, some parts of it is. After homosexuality itself was changed, they basically just changed the wording. And I'm trying to see how I want to say it. Basically, if your sexual orientation was of the same sex, you would still consider having a mental health disorder. Current day, in the DSM-5, it's listed as gender dysphoria. Basically, what they're trying to say is if you are not comfortable in the body you're in and you feel more strongly about being the opposite sex, meaning like if I wanted to be a man, somewhat of what you find with trans men and women, they just feel like they've been assigned the wrong body. That's what the DSM-5 calls gender dysphoria. And you could actually get Social Security disability with that diagnosis. It's unfortunate, but I know some people who take advantage of those different systems and jumped on that. Anyway, so mental health and homosexuality. I remember one thing I used to try to discern with myself is, excuse me, it's been a long day, y'all, with that total workout. Woo! These legs is hurting. I'm so scared I'm going to have Charlie horses tonight. Oh, my God. Anyway, shall I digress? So, I feel that by the age of 5 or 6, I know for a fact that I was having attractions to females. In my autobiography, I even mentioned starting to, try and touch, rub. I remember what we call burning clothes. Doing all those things with girls. Like I said, from the age of 5 or 6, whereas this ain't good. With the mental health, I noticed the beginning stages of my depression about 11, 12 years old. About 11, 12 years old is when I first started feeling really, really low, really, really sad. A major life change happened to me in that time. We moved from Baton Rouge, Louisiana to Rockford, Illinois, because my stepdad got a job up here. And once my stepdad came into the picture and my mom had my 3 younger siblings, it was kind of defeating for me. My safe haven and my love was going to my godmother's house, who, rest in peace, is no longer with us. And so moving to Rockford made that impossible. And I remember running away a lot of times. Like, I lied to my granny to get back down there. My godmom sent for me. My mom literally ended up having to threaten everybody down in Louisiana, like, don't send for her or send her back, or she was going to put, a bed in a runaway. So that's how that happened. And it was odd because my godmother who passed away accepted me being a teen parent more than she accepted my homosexuality. So that was very hard. But you know, she was hardcore in the church. We used to be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh my God. She be catching the Holy Ghost. They used to put her back in the glass room. I'd be freaking out, you know, and that was a lot of my spiritual foundation. And when I started getting ready to talk about mental health and homosexuality, one of the first things that came to mind was the church and spirituality. And at one point, I had tried to make that a whole segment and thought I would talk about this just that specifically. But I realized that, you know, it could totally be tied in here with mental health and homosexuality due to the fact that a lot of times, you know, you're abandoned by the church. You know, you already face this social ostracism when you're different. You look different. You behave different. You know, it's like me. I had the same aversions as feminine males would have, to where, you know, I spoke on it before, just having a horrible time in my stud chronicles. I said, you know, trying to use the bathroom, a public bathroom, that alone, I'm pretty sure that that alone is an area of PTSD for me, because it's been so freaking stressful. And if I did not have a bad bladder, I said this before, I would not even use a public restroom. So when we really look at the caveat, like I said, I felt like I had homosexual tendencies by age 6. However, my mental health issues didn't come out to 12, 13. It typically takes an event. A lot of what's in us, in me, in my family, is a chemical imbalance. My siblings and I don't have the same father. I don't even know who my father is. But one thing that we have in common is our mom. And all of us suffer from some form of mental illness. So right there, you know that it's a hereditary chemical imbalance. However, environment, social networks, the people who you love, just depending on the support and the circle around you, and what's going on in your environment, can really either either going to affect your mental health in a positive way or a negative way. And so it's important that I mention that, because mental health and homosexuality. Okay, the difficulty here is what have we known to have happened a lot of times. Trying to come out as a teenager, there's chances where you can be abandoned, isolated, rejected by your family, end up on the streets homeless. When you go on from there, then you're having poor sexual practices, because you're basically homosexual, meaning like you're basically doing what you have to do to survive. And the unfortunate part of that is, when you know your self-worth and you know who you are, and you have to put yourself in such risky and unsafe practices, again, you're dealing with an effect on your mental health, an effect on your well-being, an effect on your stability altogether. So if you go beyond the homelessness and the aversions that you may have as a child, now look at the adult issues, you know, getting and securing employment, suicide, addiction, being exiled from your church. Again, here we talk about spirituality. You know, I love a lot of pastors and true Christians, but just like my godmom, they don't have any problem, and I'm okay with that, with saying that they do not condone or agree with homosexuality. Not all churches will get rid of you or turn away from you, but they will be clear about their stance on that. And that too can create a large amount of stress and anxiety, instability. I remember when I was young, it was like, if you've seen The Color Purple, and I hope everybody watching this has, I should put a clip on right now. One of the things that they did to describe Suge Avery, because she was basically bisexual, they told the lady that she would have, that Suge Avery has that nasty woman's disease. You get what I'm saying? Nasty woman's disease. Like, so in my early days, I used to look at it as, I was nasty. I was dirty. I had a dysfunction, an illness. I was shamed and afraid and so reclused. What do you say about that? What do you say about that? So the correlation basically comes from the coming out, and the way your environment receives you. For myself, I was fortunate enough. I believe my mom accepted it at first because it was like, well, she won't bring me a baby. Then she had her times of saying, it's just a phase, you'll get out of it. If I remember correctly, some of the therapy I did, she even tried to have me hypnotized. It's a long phase, Mom. Clearly didn't work. Anyway, one of the things that did come was, her just deciding that she wasn't going to make me feel bad or force me to change. And she even started buying me more masculine clothes because she saw I was not touching them dresses and skirts anymore. Got it, Mom? So yeah, early on I was able to kind of be myself, so to speak. And when I got to high school, a lot of girls couldn't handle that. They used to be so mad at me, and not so mad at me because 9 times out of 10, as soon as we got out of high school, those same girls who taunted and tortured me so much ended up trying to flirt as adults. You ruined my whole childhood career. Do you think I want to have sex with you? Cancel that. So, there we go. Now, let's put this together. One of the things I was asked to sideline was this comorbidity. And basically, comorbidity is having more than one condition at the same time or right after each other. And with mental health and homosexuality, a lot of times what happens is there's the presence of substance abuse. A lot of times with mental health, period, there is the presence of substance abuse. Self-medicating is what some people would call it, but it's basically whatever the person has to do to feel sane or untroubled in their moments. And when you're dealing with homosexuality, the win-win there is now I can be more comfortable with who I really am. And unfortunately, that created a lot of sneaking around, a lot of unfaithful men. When I worked with HIV and Hep C patients in Nashville, one of the things that I found out in the history was 83% of women who contracted AIDS and HIV contracted it from a lying man. So the man that they were with was sleeping with men and not telling them. And the reason why that was happening is because men, especially African American men, risk losing so much. Immediate family, married family, kids, etc. So they go to these bathhouses and these forest preserves and these God knows where places. And then you have the issue of other things. And where the comorbidity, I feel like, comes in on top of that is a lot of times when you are homosexual and you have that mental health issue, some other things start going on with you, and maybe in your physical realm. Like, speaking for myself, I currently have a diagnosis of diabetes. I battle back and forth with high blood pressure, acid reflux. Oh God, what else happened with the onset? It will be coming to me before lactose intolerant. So many other issues and isms, and this is wrong. And I am here to say that my ACEs acronym, Adverse Childhood Experiences, contributed way more to my comorbidities than my homosexuality. But we've had to fight, and some of us still fight. I know people who are well off into their 50s and 60s. The 50s and 60s. And they're still living in the closet. They're still living in fear and denial and shame of what they really feel and how they really feel and who they really love. And that is so freaking unfortunate. But they know that it becomes a ripple effect. How will my family feel? How will my children feel? Thank God my son's grandmother on his father's side had exposure to homosexuality before me. Because if that had not been the case, I know that I would have had to fight for custody of my child when they found out about my lifestyle. But the one thing that his grandmother said to me, and I respected her for that, just don't go back and forth. Just don't confuse him. You got it, moms. You got it. So, if I wanted to put a call to action, because I think I've kind of tried to do that a little bit in each part of this series, I would say embrace your children, love your children, help them understand themselves without fighting so much against, worried about what they're doing and how other people will view that and what your family would say. Your child needs your support and your love. Homosexuality is not easy. It is scary. My generation in the 80s, I was born in the 70s, coming out in the 80s, versus coming out in 2020 is a lot different. Some people look at it, it's so cliche. Every man wants their woman to have a woman. Sometimes it's I don't know. And then we have children who are under the age of 10 who are having sex changes. So then you have that element. But through that all, you got to think about the mental processes, the mental impacts, the way the social and emotional can affect a person's well-being altogether. The more support they have, the more understanding they are to gain about themselves, and the more they're able to find a circle of people who identify as they do, the healthier that person can be. Mental illness does not have to kill you. It doesn't even have to physically 100% control you. But the person has to be intentional about taking care of their mental health, and they have to have a support team to help them do the same. The stress, the PTSD, the impact of the fear of acceptance or lack of is detrimental. So if I would say anything other than Embrace the child. Don't be so quick to judge. And I'm going to put a disclaimer out there for me, women. Just because I like women don't mean I like you. I'm a hella flirt. But I'm also very, very, very passionate about helping people. I help old people. I help babies. I help in between. So sometimes, ma'am, I'm just trying to help you. I'm not trying to hit it. Let's get that clear. I live with a lot, but I refuse to let that shine brighter than my light of God. And I know that, let me put this out there because I said I'm not going to do a whole episode on mental health and the church. But mental health, homosexuality in the church, I'm going to say this. God has gotten me out of dark places trillions of times. God has saved me when I didn't want to save myself. God has blocked my attempts at taking my life. So when people are so quick to tell you that you're going to hell, God doesn't love you, I have pleaded to God to take it away from me, to take it off of me. God blesses me and saves me, and therefore I know He don't have a problem with who I am and what I prefer. It's these living people who find the right words to fit the right things that they want to not find okay because really they don't understand it or it's confusing for them themselves. So here you are being so outward with it, and it's difficult. It's difficult. They can't relate because guess what? They're still trying to figure it out. So that's going to wrap up part 4, mental health and homosexuality. I hope that I helped somebody. I hope that I clarified something. Leave your comments down below if you like that, you want to add to it, or you want to hear a different spin. Part 5 is going to be mental health and social media. That'll be my last part in this 5-part series, unless we get some feedback that people want me to touch on mental health in some other areas or expand on what I've done so far. Again, I appreciate you rocking with me. Thank you for watching this video. Please tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. This is some serious stuff right here, so I've been real chill, up and down, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a hella cool, hella fun person. We're going to get so live and so turned. I always do, and you'll see it right here on this video. Right here on, not this video, but on YouTube. So don't worry. Every series, every video is not going to be me sitting down, being so scholarly, almost like a podcast, which that's coming too. But, yeah, I just want to make sure I get this topic across right. Holla at you later. Roger that. Peace.